My guitar community is crazy. I asked here on YouTube and on Instagram to you guys sending me videos from you playing your solos, your covers, your stuff that you're practicing right now, whatever. And I want to take a look over it and maybe give you some advices and some tips here and there on how you can improve. And a lot of you guys sent me some awesome and crazy stuff, so let's take a look at your playing. Here we go. Yes, you guys have sent me some really cool stuff, and let's take a look over it. If you still want to send me something, if these videos are performing quite well, then check this email address. You can send me your YouTube link or WeTransfer link or Google Drive, whatever, to this email address. And then I will love to do this more often, to share what my guitar community is capable of, and as well, of course, to check out on where you can improve maybe here and there. So let's start with the first video. So, and first we have Ali Yersin SR. I hope I kind of pronounced that one correctly. And he sent me the solo cover from Beyond the Matrix by Epica. And I definitely have to check out some more Epica, because this song really seems to be super epic and cool, and it has a really shreddy solo on it, and I never knew that Epica can be so shreddy. So if you have some Epica songs and solos for me to check out, then write it in the comments. So, but now let's check out Ali. Here we go. Okay, I can tell you in the first place that the one thing that you, Ali, are doing really fine and really like is your control over the bendings. They are straight to the right note. So this is something that I already really like, the vibrato and the bending. And this is always, yeah, in Germany we say it's always half the rent, when something which is so essential and you're doing this so good, so that other stuff is, you don't need to worry too much about your sound and your bending and phrasing control, which is, yeah, good. Okay, now here's something where we already have talked about, the arm thing. And this is a really good demonstration on how you should not use your forearm. What Ali is doing is that he's moving way too much coming from the whole forearm and not from the wrist. Well, this technique can work on single string lines like these licks here, for example. But as soon as we have to cross between strings, like for example in that one lick that he just played, goes something like this. I don't know that song, that solo too much, so I'm just guessing a little bit, was something like this. Here we definitely need the flexibility of our wrist. So this is something where I highly recommend to you to check out some methods how we can go from the forearm movement to the wrist movement. This will take some time, and it's not an easy ask. And soon in the ZEN of Speed Picking there will be a section out there where I'm going to explain the progress and the way of some of my students from how they are getting from the forearm movement to only the wrist movement. It's not an easy task. It's a bad habit that we have to change. It will take some time, but I guarantee to you that your picking is way more controlled and way more flexible when it comes to those kind of lines than when you're using the whole forearm. So it's definitely worth to check out over a long amount of time. It will maybe take 6 months, but it's definitely worth it. But other than that, we are starting crazy. There's not much to complain. Again, the control over the bending and the phrasing, it's really good. The left hand is quite fast. Maybe there could be some improvement in how much you can control your left hand in these higher tempos. But I would say the biggest problem is the right hand. But all the other stuff, this is how you should play a good lead guitar. Alright, now let's move on with someone from my community called Kiko. like Kiko Lorero. And he sent me a cover of Trust. And I know this song pretty good by playing it really often live with my Megadeth tribute band. And let's check out the solo a little bit. Okay, cool, nice. So I would say the biggest thing on where to improve here is the vibrato and the bendings, because these techniques are crucial for a solo like this. You have a few main problems when it comes to the technique. Let's check them out. First big problem is you're bending way too much out of your fingers doing this kind of movement here. Always try to bend with your wrist, because bending needs a lot of strength, and we can only get the strength, or we can get more strength out of the whole wrist movement by using also the muscles in our forearm here, instead of just using our fingers. Our fingers are way too weak for controlled bending and vibrato. We need a lot of strength in our left hand, so I would recommend always to use the deputy sheriffs, how my old guitar teacher used to call them, the other fingers. So when you are bending with a ring finger, also always put on the middle finger and the index finger around 1 or 2 frets behind it. It does not have to be lined up in every fret, but it has to be together so you can use more strength out of your forearm. And then the classical doorknob movement that we need to bend from one string to the next. The same strength we also need for vibrato, to have a controlled vibrato. A few years ago I made a video called The Vibrato of Yngwie Malmsteen Demystified, and there I talked about my unique concept of working on your vibrato, seeing it in 2 parameters, speed and intensity, and how you can work on it, how you can work on your vibrato with a metronome. So check out this video definitely, but maybe I'm going to make another video about this topic, because this is quite old. It's like 3 or 4 years old. Definitely work with a lot of conscious on your bendings and vibrato, and try to get away from the danger zone. This is kind of a new concept, but I really like this one. Let me try to show it to you. Imagine that you're visualizing a bending like this. This is your starting point, and here is the point that you want to reach, which is your final destination. Then the big problem is a lot of guitar players, especially in the beginning, they spend way too much time in this area here, and this is the so-called danger zone. Or at least I call it like this, danger zone. Yes. So what is the problem with the danger zone? Well, this section here, it sounds always a little bit out of tune. Like, oh, you're really close to the note, but it sounds weird and crazy and not really good. So if you want to do slow bends, which is totally fine, and yeah, take aware of this when good blues guitar players are doing slow bends, they more longer in this area here, and then they try to skip this area here as quickly as possible and try to reach to the final point, our final bending note, the final note, really, really fast. So it's more like and not really like like I try to do it now with my vocals here, but I hope you get the point. So on guitar again, the difference. In the danger zone, you have this, sounds not good. Out of danger zone, staying a little bit longer down here, and then trying to move as quickly as possible to the target note. with a nice vibrato on top of it or whatnot. This is how Marty is doing it. This is how all these blues guitar players are doing it, because this here does not sound good. So always be aware of the danger zone when it comes to bending. And in this case, Trust is a really good solo to work on your bendings. But again, check out the video that I made for vibrato and bending on the Vibrato Demystified video. Practice with these kind of methods and then try to approach these methods to the Trust solo. All right, let's continue. Up next we have a really cool German follower called Dominik, and he wrote a solo for his band Gradient Blue, his technical death metal band. They're performing quite well here in Germany. I saw some videos from some live gigs. I think they played with Arcspire. Pretty cool stuff, really cool. And he sent me that solo that he wrote. I can't say too much about the solo itself because he's playing the guitar alone, not with a band or with a backing track or something like that, which of course is quite a challenge because then you can hear everything, every mistake, every sloppiness, everything. You have no way to cover something up. But on the other hand, it's really hard to hear the context over what kind of situation and scenario. He wrote me in a mail like, oh, this is over B minor and he's going over E minor, but still, I would love to hear the full product. But there's something on the technical kind of aspect that I can say about the solo. But first, let's check out the solo that he wrote. Nice. The last part of the video is the solo played in half speed. And what I really like are the modern aspect of this solo. We have some really cool intervallic licks here, some really cool phrasing, really in the style of modern guitar players like Wes Hawk or these tech death guys. You can hear this influence, and I really like this because it's doing something new and interesting for our instrument. And the first thing that I heard was really, really cool idea. This kind of idea where he is really playing with some intervals, with the sound ringing over each other, just some really cool effected, and especially some really cool phrasing touched by the tapped harmonic here. Really, really cool. But when the first kind of speedy lick starts, here the biggest problem I would say from this guitar player is the way how he holds the thumb. By this kind of habit, he has problems to go between strings, and what happens here when playing this fast is that in this recording at least he's doing more like something like this slowed down instead of so he's losing the flexibility in our right hand a lot to move from one string to the next string and also to use articulation. This kind of way to hold the pick has a lot of tension in our forearm by stretching the thumbs way too much, having this banana grip. There are some really interesting videos from Bernd, the biggest guitar YouTube educator currently, where he's also talking about this habit because Bernd used to do this in the past a lot but has changed it and has gained massive more control and success with his right hand after changing from this kind of banana grip position, I can't even do it that good, to this position. And then he has some really interesting modern sweep arpeggio shapes. Again, I really like this modern approach, which goes something like this. He was luckily so kind enough to send me the tabs as well. And when I want to play this sweeps, I really have to practice them a lot because playing this shape fast, it's not easy. The jump from here to here with the ring finger in between that is a finger ring and a finger shape, that is really difficult. How would I practice this though when I want to play it fast? Just like this, for example. Getting my finger used to this kind of weird new shape, weird new feeling. So I more and more have control over what I'm doing with this shape because I get more used to this shape. And then for the last sweep, he has the same problem that I often have. With interesting hammer-ons between the ring finger and the pinky, that both of them get down on the string at the same time, and then in tempo more something like this happens. instead of a really nice and smooth sweep like this. So overall, I really like the modern concept, the modern ideas, the shapes. They are not easy, something where I have to work on as well a lot. So there, really good job. Pay attention to the details. Maybe take some of the licks and try to focus a little bit more on the finger movements, get more used to the finger movement. But other than that, I would say cool solo. Devil in the Basement by Gradient Bloom. Definitely worth to check out. Now it's time to check out the final video of today. So the final video for today is from Jake Poporovsky, and I can't remember this guy somewhere. I don't know if it was a shred battle or something like this, but this name there rings a bell. And this guy, oh, this guy is on fire. Let's check him out, guys. You have to see this. This guy is cool. That's actually fun. What a great melody and what a great mix. How awesome is that? I think he's tuned down a half step and he's doing something like this. Really cool idea. Really, really like this. Phrasing. Having phrases where he repeats them and let the motif develop and maybe do some variations, really awesome. Nice. Something like this. E minor, kind of pentatonic, E minor 7 or E flat minor 7 because it's a half step down. Really cool with some tapping in it. Really, this is on fire. Cool, nice, modern intervallic ideas. So there is so much in the solo that I really love. Motifs, great phrasing, great groove, great rhythm, cool technique. He's on fire and he has some really cool melodies. And as you can see in all of the solos that some of you guys have sent me, for me it's always really important to have great melodies, great ideas in it. There's something that I could recommend. Possibly, he's doing a lot of stuff really, really good, really on fire, better than I would do it. I don't know if I could improvise a solo like this. Really, really cool. Maybe working a little bit more to have a cleaner kind of picking, a little bit cleaner sweeping. Some of the sweeps are more like... It could be a little bit more cleaner, like... that you could hear every note. Really nice and clean and smooth. And this takes a lot of time, a lot of work. This is something that I'm practicing every day to have more control over the tightness and the precision of my playing. But other than that, really great job. Okay, So much for this little video. If you want to have your videos as well featured here on my channel and let me take a look over your videos, then again, write me a mail here. I still have some videos from some of you guys. I did not watch over everything. I'm going to watch definitely over the rest of the videos that you guys sent me. There's still 3 or 4 videos left. So I'm going to do this kind of format definitely again to check out all the other videos. But for now, these are some really cool shredding, some really cool solos that we have checked out from my crazy good shred guitar community. And I can't be much prouder of myself to know that we have so many great musicians in our community, in the complete guitar shred world. Not only my community, also the band Ella, the band, the Whatnot community. It's really awesome to see how many musical talents are out there and how many great cool ideas that you guys have. So I hope you like this little video, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Cheers so far and stay progress. Goodbye.